Toker was a good friend. Toker reached out to me a few months before he was killed to help somebody about some music things, but never happened. Yes, I was involved when Toker was there, and I knew Kid Frost, so I knew them all. I saw them all because I was there all the time. Toker was a friend.
Toker was a different kind of dude. He was another no joke dude.
no. Toker was no joke dude.
He was another. I met him over at when he went over to Triple X. I had a deal at Triple X Records, and that's where he and I connected over there. And him and Brownside and a few other acts I was working with at Triple X Records. Toker was another cool dude. Just not to be messed with.
Toker was a good guy.
Okay.
He was a good friend and a good guy.
I've heard Toker from Brownside, R.I.P. first of all. I've heard Toker in past interviews say that sometimes Eazy would ditch his security and roll with Toker and his boys to Cheesecake Factory and other places like that. To the best of your knowledge, is any of that true?
Yes, but I have to tell you, Eazy, as much as I wanted to send guys with him, Eazy wanted it all by himself. He wasn't afraid of anybody.
Nope.
He was not afraid of anybody. I always wanted to send my guys with him, and he says, no, send them with Jerry. Jerry always had him with them. But Eazy didn't want him. He like I said, Eazy was small in stature with a lot in gut. Okay, he was. Go ahead. He was no pushover. You know how many times I wanted to send people with him? He said to me, "No, don't need it, Mike. If I need it, I'll call you."
Shout out to Toker from Brownside. Very interesting cat. Toker was blowing up on YouTube too before he passed away. He was very entertaining. His live videos were getting 10s, 20, 30, 50, 60,000, 100,000s of views. I truly believe if Toker were alive today, he would be one of the biggest YouTubers out right now. Because he was definitely headed down that road. He got it. He got the formula. He understood the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, shout out to Toker, man. I didn't bump too much Brownside back then. To this day, I don't really bump too much Brownside, but I do appreciate their contribution to hip-hop. I appreciate all Latinos' contribution to hip-hop because I feel like they get a raw deal, man. People calling Latinos guests in hip-hop is crazy to me. How are you a guest in something that you helped build? Yes, Latinos helped build hip-hop. Hip-hop wasn't built in 1973. Yes, it may have been born in 1973, but it wasn't built in 1973. It took years and years of building different blocks, different layers of hip-hop. And Latinos, especially on the West Coast, and definitely on the East Coast, had a lot to do with that. So I feel a little certain way when I hear people say things like Latinos are guests in hip hop. I don't like that at all. I don't care for that. But yeah, man, Toker, by all counts, was an interesting guy. He was a no-nonsense type of dude. My homeboy Alonzo Williams was just telling me a story about Toker from Brownside. He actually was doing business with Toker, and he said Toker was one of those guys, like, he's cool as hell, but you could still see in his eyes not to mess with this dude. Lonzo has said that Toker got a lot of respect from his homeboys, man. His homies were very respectful of Toker. Let's just put it that way. I guess that's the best way I can put it. But yeah, man, Toker also had a crazy side, apparently. Do not get on Toker's crazy side, or you will feel his wrath. I don't know what happened. I don't know much about how he passed. I'm going to have to look more into that. And maybe I will do a story on Toker from Brownside in the near future. But what do you guys think so far of this interview with Mike Klein, head of Ruthless Records, Security and Business Affairs? I personally enjoyed doing this interview with him. I learned a lot. All this time I thought Jerry Heller was the main guy in charge. No. That is not the case. Not the case whatsoever. Mike Klein fired Jerry Heller at one point. So that goes to show you that Jerry Heller was not the number one guy over there at Ruthless Records. But you wouldn't know that unless you listen to my channel, unless you listen to NWA Stories with Lonzo. And speaking of NWA Stories with Lonzo, if you want to check out the full interview with Mike Klein, I want you to go to the description, click on the link. I want you to subscribe to NWA Stories with Alonzo. And then I want you to check out the full interview with Mike Klein, Ruthless Records head of security and business affairs. Now, before you do that, I need you to hit that like button right here on this channel. Please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Lets the algorithm know I exist. So go on and smash that like button for your boy. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, you want to hear more, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. Were you watching movies like Colors, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society? What do you remember about watching those for the first time back in the day?
Oh man, it was just like I feel like I could relate to the film, man. I felt like I was there in the film because the majority of these films were out there, they depicted how I was living in South LA, man. And you know, and I was close to South LA, man. I had family out there in and out, so some of those streets, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I saw Jordan High of Menace to Society, I was like, oh shit, that's just on the block, you know? And it made me feel the part of, man, the Jordan Downs was not too far, you know, all we had to do was cross Alameda, and we was at the Jordan Downs, man. And
isn't it crazy that no longer exists?
Man, Dusty, I passed through the other day, bro. Century actually goes through that motherfucker now. You know, I don't know. I was talking to somebody else, man. That Tweety turns into Century, if I'm not mistaken, man. And how they made it, man. They made it seem like the project it never existed, bro.
Damn.
It's a trip how they renovate all this shit, man. But I had a pass through the other day, man. I had me some beauty out right there for Compton and a Century, man. And I'm like, you know what? Let me dip down here. I haven't been down here for a minute. And sure enough, bro, fucking the entrance right there for Grape Street. And going in there is just like, fuck, man. There used to be projects here. The fuck happened, man? It's a trip.
Yep. Yes, it's crazy seeing that. Yeah, watching the movie Menace to Society and then seeing, like you said, it just not being there anymore. That's crazy to me, homie. And like it never existed.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And you know, excuse me, man, for jumping around and whatnot, man.
Go for it, homie.
But these films, man, like, you know, really, like I said, man, I really identified, man. You know, a Boys in the Hood, man. You know, again, I identified with in the beginning of the film, you know, when these little kids were, you know, just kids, man, you know, hanging around and whatnot, dude. And, you know, having aspirations of being a football player and whatnot. And see, I used to always see, man, you know, cats down the street or posted up. I remember as a little kid, man, for moving, jumping around. And I would always see that, you know, that lifestyle. And I was always attracted to it, bro. I don't know what it was, man. But like I said, I don't want to say I didn't have the balls or the courage or whatnot. But obviously that just wasn't for me, man. But I always was attracted to that lifestyle, man. And I was like attracted to the style and whatnot, man. And I always had a lot of love and a lot of respect for these cats out here, man, doing whatever what they're doing out here. But again, that just, I guess that God didn't choose that for me. You know what I'm saying? But definitely those films, man, like tell a story. And again, man, because it was from around the way, I related with them a lot more, man. Menace to Society, fucking old dog, man. That shit is crazy. I had a couple of friends just like that, man. You know, fucking hotheads, not caring about the consequences, man. Not fucking, you know, thinking about tomorrow. Basically, just living for the moment and the day, you know. And there was something about when I would see these cats, you know, holding a gun, transforming into somebody else, man. Right, like it was just nuts, bro. And I remember being able to see that shit on the films and relating that shit to a couple of cats that I was growing up with. Like, fuck, what we gonna end up at? You know what I'm saying? And again, man, I'm just glad, Dusty, that at least, man, for the crowd that I grew up on, man, like I'm one of many, man, probably or hopefully that could come, you know, and tell their story, man, how it was back then and how it is now, man, because some of these individuals, man, are not granted that opportunity, you know, to be in my position, in your position, simply even talking about the shit. They're up there doing time, man. Like, they have no fucking chances and opportunity to actually come and enjoy a pina colada out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, man, or going to the beach or something, man. Let alone hugging their children, man. And for that, like I'm fucking grateful for, man. Like, I'm grateful that for whatever reason or another, the dice rolled the way they did, and I'm able to be, you know, on this side of it, man. And again, man, keep it in remembrance and always be grateful for the opportunity that I do have today. Because again, some of these cats that I grew up with, man, like they're never gonna have the opportunity, man. And again, I feel blessed because of that, man. So I kind of like enjoy these opportunities a lot more today, man, because of them, man.
Yeah. Speaking some real game, man. Speaking some real truth. I love it, dog. Love where this conversation is going.
That's real.
Yeah. You being a Latino, homie. When you first saw American Me and Blood In, Blood Out and movies like that, what was your initial thought?
Oh, mother! I feel like again, that was me, but that was not me. And the only reason why I say that wasn't not me because again, I didn't get into the game like it was. But again, man, the way our story or our culture got depicted as far as for gangbanging, you know what I'm saying? How it was, and I mean, to some degree, it's true. And you know, after years later, I've gone by, man. You know, obviously that film American Me caused a lot of trouble out here in the streets. You know, and my understanding is because they exposed a lot of things that maybe weren't supposed to expose.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, like. Entertainment is one thing, man, but depicting the story is a whole different other thing, no matter what, you know. And I strongly believe that even though people might go against it or whatnot, man, American is an awesome film of what happens inside a prison, man. Whether I agree with it or not, that's none of me for me to say. But I feel that they did a great job, man, depicting the story, telling the story of whatever or whoever that might have been, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, just even as a little insight, bro, because again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people benefited from watching that movie, man, and maybe changed their ways. And on the other hand, maybe a lot of people got influenced by movies like that and went all out and ended up living out that movie. If you know what I mean.
Of course, yeah.
So it's got a little bit of both things, man. The two evils, man.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you said that because I've interviewed in the past a lot of former gang members, former active gangbangers, I should say, who lived in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Minnesota, Detroit, and a lot of them were influenced by movies like Colors and Banging on Wax. Do you remember the Banging on Wax tapes, the Crips and Bloods, Pyru Love?
I remember I remember the covers, man. That's for sure. I didn't get a chance to actually bump them, man. But I remember, like, shit, this shit is real gang banging music. You know what I mean? I didn't know about it. But for sure, man.
Yeah, it was influencing people all over the country. Even there's a huge gang activity or gang presence in the country of Belize right now, dog. And by most accounts, that was started by the movie Colors. Someone can correct me out there if it's Colors or another movie, but I'm pretty sure it was Colors. Someone said some dude watched it out there and just decided to, kind of get it cracking like that. But it's a trip, man. It's definitely a trip how that music and the movies had an influence on the world, right?
That's for sure, man. And you know what? Another thing too, Dusty, I wouldn't be surprised, man, of even people from here, getting deported back to certain countries. Like for example, like you said, Belize, right? I don't know if I'm pretty sure you heard about was the get down over there in El Salvador, man.
MS-13, I mean.
Yeah, bro. Even in Mexico, man, a lot of these cats were brought down as children, you know what I'm saying? They end up getting involved with gangs, ended up doing like really heavy duty stuff. And eventually, man, they took their culture, the gang banging thing back then, and it just spread like a fucking cancer. You know what I'm saying? So maybe not only besides movies getting influenced, but probably even some people, you know what I mean, going back there and starting their own fucking that type of gang banging down there, man. It's just crazy, man. That shit's just nuts, man.